the outbreak has swept across the world, a few places have seemed to have things more under control. One of them is Taiwan. Late this week, Taiwan had recorded 252 cases and only 2 deaths, a much lower percentage than its larger East Asian neighbors. Taipei says it alerted the WHO at the end of December about the risk of human-to-human transmission of COVID-19, but concerns were not passed on. Despite being shut out by China and the WHO, Taiwan's efforts in combating the outbreak were recognized by the European Union in a recent video conference.
Will the WHO consider Taiwan's membership? Hello?
I'm sorry, I can't hear. I couldn't hear your question.
Okay, yeah. Let me repeat the question.
No, that's okay. Let's move to another one then.
Right, because I'm actually curious on talking about Taiwan as well, on Taiwan's case.
We decided to give Dr. Alward another call to follow up.
And I just want to see if you can comment a bit on how Taiwan has done so far in terms of containing the virus.
Well, we've already talked about China, and when you look across all the different areas of China, they've actually all done quite a good job. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for inviting us to participate, and good luck as you go forward with the battle in Hong Kong.
For those cases that are confirmed,
right.
We not only want to contain them, we also want to quarantine those who those confirmed cases have contact with. So this is a whole government approach in dealing with the situation.
Well, this has been an incredible approach and a very successful one. You're located Taiwan, 81 miles away from mainland China.
针对我们的这些防疫的作为。曾经召集各国的大使代表等等，在外交部做了3轮的这种说明。那最近这段时间，我也接到很多的这些大使代表们的这个电话，那他们也希望说他们的政府能够从台湾这边学习到如何来防疫。
For Foreign Affairs of Taiwan, Jiaoxi Joseph Wu. Sir, it is good to have you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us. And it's interesting to look at the Taiwanese response to this coronavirus and the success that you've had relative to China and the rest of the world. Can you tell us a little about it?
In that year, we were hit very hard by SARS, and we learned how to deal with it. The whole government is established to deal with the situation. So when we learned that there might be a new epidemic coming this way, so in December last year, we started to see the news that there were unknown cases of pneumonia, looks like SARS. So we tried to prepare ourselves. We set up our government task force, and then we set up our command center. We started doing the onboard checking for those passengers coming back from Wuhan. And we also strengthened our checking facilities in the airport on all passengers coming in to see if they have respiratory syndromes or whether they have high fever. And we are doing this in order to prevent the cases from going up. And for those cases that are confirmed,
right.
We not only want to contain them, we also want to quarantine those who those confirmed cases have contact with. So this is a whole of government approach in dealing with the situation.
Well, this has been an incredible approach and a very successful one. You're located Taiwan, 81 miles away from mainland China, and you've been able to manage this coronavirus outbreak as well. All of this travel going back and forth, China to Taiwan. So far in China, there have been more than 81,000 cases of coronavirus and more than 3,000 deaths, compared to less than 200 cases in Taiwan and 2 deaths in Taiwan. So, sir, I know that the Hong Kong protests really impacted Taiwan. Tell me about that, because the whole idea of one country, 2 systems was to get Taiwan more involved with China. Is that now dead? Where are you post the Hong Kong protests in that regard?
I think you are right that one country, two system model in Taiwan has no attraction at all. When there was a protest in Hong Kong in March last year, people in Taiwan are watching very carefully because the Chinese government continued to say that the one country, two system model is for Taiwan to use in the future. But when the people in Taiwan see that protest, we know that that is not good for us. Taiwan is a democracy and rather mature one. And we also want the Hong Kong people to enjoy the same degree of freedom and democracy. And therefore, we support each other. And right now, we certainly hope that there can be free elections in Hong Kong and they can enjoy their freedom of speech.
Minister, it's so wonderful to hear you say that and to see this kind of democracy so close to China, where obviously the authoritarianism is failing, is very important to discuss. Minister, good to talk with you. Thanks very much for joining me this morning.
Restore our economies that have been decimated by the Wuhan virus.
我们坚决反对污名化中国言论的态度。
When it was clear that this was an issue, China knew about it. They were the first country to know about the risk to the world from this virus. And they repeatedly delayed sharing that information with the globe. So yes, we desperately want to work with every country around the world. This is a global pandemic. This is something the United States wants to work with every country, including China, to figure out how to resolve, to keep as many people alive, as many people as healthy, and then to restore our economies that have been decimated by the Wuhan virus.
中方已经多次阐明了在病毒来源上的问题上的立场，也表明了我们坚决反对污名化中国言论的态度。病毒不分国界，不分种族，全人类只有共同努力，才能战而胜之。
So we are prepared to work with them. We're prepared to assist them. We want good things for the Chinese people as well. So this isn't a time for blame. This is a time to solve this global problem. We're focused on that today. It's where the G7 members spent all of their time. But every one of the nations that was at that meeting this morning was deeply aware of the disinformation campaign that the Chinese Communist Party is engaged in to try and deflect from what has really taken place here. Today is not the day for recriminations and accountability. We need to make clear that the information that is available to everyone in the world is available, that it means full transparency by everyone, including by the Chinese Communist Party. This is a continuing challenge. We still need good information from the Chinese Communist Party about what has taken place there and the level of the virus that continues inside of that country. We need accurate, transparent information, just like we're demanding from every country around the world.
中方始终本着公开、透明、负责的态度，及时向世卫组织以及包括美国在内的有关国家和地区通报信息，开展合作。我们希望美方能够同中方和国际社会一道，共同应对疫情挑战，维护全球公共卫生安全。
But there'll be a right time after we've managed to address this crisis, after we've managed to get these economies back on their feet. There'll be a time for the world to evaluate responsibility for what took place.
Followed pretty closely the Taiwanese model. They worked up a framework for mass gatherings that's been quite successful, and that's what we'll be looking as a basis for our criteria.
אגב, האמצעי הזה נוסע בטייוואן, כנראה בהצלחה יתרה. ישראל היא אחת המדינות.
Wie das sehr unaufgeregt geht, hat ein Land gerade in der Corona-Krise besonders bewiesen. Taiwan hat gezeigt, wie man mit klaren Strategien und einem kühlen Kopf auf die Gefahr des Coronavirus antworten kann.
T-A-I-W-A-N. This is a question about Taiwan. The inclusion of Taiwan in international discussions about the virus. Again, Taiwan, yes or no?
まあ早い話がワールドヘルスオーガナイゼーションじゃねえ、チャイニーズヘルスオーガナイゼーションじゃねえかって CHC 的に直せってさっとやって、台湾が多分今回のコロナに対して最もうまく対応している国は台湾かなと思いますけれども、また台湾を国になっていたとか言ってね、共産党の人に何か言われると話は込み入るんですが、台湾という地域ね地域
想要的